So that's why I want to make this clear to you about the extension. The extension is just to rejig the deal. And we have selected an option mutually between ourselves and the developer. And there's some fine tuning that needs to be done with that. And with the closing on Friday, we just needed some more time just to clean up the language and to deal with that issue.
So the new closing date is?
It would be July 29th, I think it is. Okay, what I can do for you though is because I could just run through, I'll give you the highlight on it. Maybe there's some debate on how much I should be disclosing. Let me just get this to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. This will help you. What it does is the city gets, they'll close on 50% of the land by the end of July. The city will receive close to $1.8 million at the end of July. They are now then asking for an extension on the remaining portion through to 2/14, and that is the direction council has given. It means we've got close to $5 million already on these lands when this deal closes. It also, the developer has spent close to $5 million on the lands and infrastructure, or several million, and then several million on the original purchase. So it's not a question of someone not acting on the land, not developing the land. They've serviced 34 lots, but the market is really slow. And one of the factors, especially in that market, is homes over 400,000 are subject to the HST. And that has been a killer in that segment of the market for the last number of months. So we are getting a substantial portion. If I can go back to the first part of the deal, in the original deal, of that 2.8, 2.3 went to cover the costs of the land inquiry and other issues related to those lands. So we had 500,000 clear from that first part of the deal. This rest of this money is all clear to us. And it's $1.8 million when you put all the different factors together, $1.3 million on the deal itself, and then some issues with the MTO and the deposit that come back to us, which is put up to $1.8 million. So that leaves, just so I can put this in perspective for you, that leaves about between 800 and 900,000 outstanding for 2/14. So, and I'll give council credit, it was unanimous as you saw, is that the other option is to close the deal, and the option of closing means probably long-term litigation. It means putting the land up for sale again. The marketplace would be, I think, a mistake at this time. So we've worked with the company to find some solutions, and for the taxpayers' point of view, they're going to see $1.8 million at the end of July coming into the city.
So do I understand it right then in that the full parcel of land is being sold by 2014?
They're taking about 50% of it in this coming year, and then the rest would remain, and they would close on that in 2/14, which is about $800,000 to $900,000. One of their other options, which was rejected, was simply to grant an extension with no payment to 2/14, and that was not acceptable to us.
I'm curious, and I know you can't get into details of closing, but maybe just how, where was council pretty unanimous even behind closed doors on what we do, or was there a lot of debate and discussion around that?
You might recall, this is the guy that was censored for talking about this very piece of land, so let's do it. There's a lot of good questions. It wasn't so much debate, and you saw the vote out here ratifying the direction was unanimous, and I think that tells you the story. I mean, in an ideal world, we would just close the deal and receive the monies. In this case, we're receiving a great portion of the monies. They're going to continue to invest, and if you look at it just from a development point of view, they're already in the land for close to $5 million. Plus, you add this development into it. They've got a very vested stake now in making that area work for them as a developer.
I'm wondering if it's also something that you look at as an image issue, that this sends a message to other developers that you're willing to work with them.
Yeah, there's no question that we protected the public interest, because the first 4 proposals we did not believe were in the public interest. And I say it didn't go to council. There simply wasn't anything there that we thought was of merit to take forward. So it's obviously evolved in a very intense couple of 10 days here trying to get a better deal for the taxpayers. But that is one of the issues. If you end up getting into the courts, suing each other, it does have an impact. And so we didn't want to go that route. Perfect example is what the county went through with Marshall Gold Manor. It was tied up for, 2, 3, 4 years. And, just simply, if you can avoid it, avoid it. And the only people that win from that is the lawyers. And in this case, we think, again, we have a substantial amount of money, close to $2 million coming into the city at the end of July into a land reserve from the sale of this land.
Is there a sense with everything that's happening at the business park, the research center particularly, with the emphasis on new forms of fuel and the idea of LGS continuing with some kind of a hybrid feed in terms of housing, is that sort of playing in the mind of Silvestri that down the road there's going to be
That I don't
the
know.
market?
When they made the original purchase, you might recall, it was the time that Ube was still here. There was the buzz in the area. Shell moved forward, and they are a substantial company. Developments all through the U.S. and particularly in southern Ontario also, and they were caught up in the collapse of the credit markets too. Markets that collapsed were in the very areas that they were part of. So I think they have long-term confidence in Sarnia, and I think what council has done is said that we share that confidence.